Controversial opinion here. You have been lied to. There is no such thing as self-regulation. Child psychologist here, clinical psychologist here, trauma expert here, to tell you that self-regulation is a myth. There is something else, but it isn't self-regulation. So if people are telling you to be a good parent, you need to learn to self-regulate in order to help your child co-regulate. And you think to yourself, kind of like sadness and inside out, I don't know how to do that. Then I have great news for you. Self-regulation doesn't exist. If this is the kind of topic that you want to hear more about, if you want to understand self-regulation, co-regulation, how we soothe ourselves, how we soothe our children, how to go from cycle maker to from cycle breaker, how to go from cycle breaker to cycle maker as a post-traumatic parent, click subscribe below so you never miss another episode. So I am shooting this video because I have heard this too many times in my post-traumatic parenting classes. A mom will come in, it's usually moms, and will say, I've been told that in order to help my kid co-regulate, I have to learn how to self-regulate. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I can't self-regulate, so I guess my kid is just screwed. I'm just my poor kid. I'm the worst mom in the world. They're not gonna have the help they need, and like it's over before we start. I have good news for you. You've been lied to. There's no such thing as self-regulation. There is only co-regulation and mentalized co-regulation. We learn to self-regulate, so to speak, the myth, self-regulate within relationships. We have to be taught to calm down. We learn to feel calm when someone provides us the 4 S's of attachment. When we feel safe, soothed, seen, secure, when our parents give us that sense of parental sturdiness, that there's an adult in charge and this person is taking care of me, they got me. They see me, they get who I am, they revel and delight in me. When I cry, they're gonna come and they're gonna comfort me. They're gonna be here, right? We have that presence of a sturdy other. That is how we learn regulation. But regulation is automatically learned through relationships. So stop beating yourself up if you say, I don't know how to self-regulate, so I'm going to be a bad mom. You don't learn how to self-regulate. You learn how to co-regulate. You are taught co-regulation by your attachment figures, and then that co-regulation becomes something we call mentalized, which means there's an internal working model of your parents. There's a little internalized image of mom. Mom could be dead, right? This could be, you could be 70 years old and mom died a long time ago, but there's an internal working model sense of the world as a safe, secure place, and if bad things happen, I know how to calm down, I can handle them. Mom is still co-regulating with you even though she's in her grave, right? That is mentalized co-regulation, and that's what people mean when they say self-regulation. So what do? If you didn't have that, if you are a post-traumatic parent and you didn't have an attachment figure who taught you how to co-regulate, who helped you feel soothed and safe and secure, didn't experience it, you don't know how to do it, and now you have a child and you know, I'm the attachment figure, like I'm the only game in town for this kid to have attachment and I don't know how to do that. So hi, here's the other side of this. This is why my profession exists. This is where we learn how to co-regulate. For a lot of us, the first time we learn to co-regulate is in psychotherapy, where another human sits with us and validates and says, oh, yeah, that's hard. Wow, I can see how upset you are. Anybody would be upset. Let's sit for a moment. Let's process that together. Let's see where we feel it in our bodies. Let's see if we can reframe it or re-understand it, right? There's many ways that psychotherapy teaches us to co-regulate and then to mentalize our co-regulation. I once had a patient say to me, I hope you don't think I'm creepy or a stalker or weird or messed up, but I have a lot of conversations with you in my brain. Like, I imagine a lot of times things happen and I imagine like what you would say to me. Like, I hope you don't think I'm a weird stalker. And I said, I don't, because I have a lot of conversations with my therapist in my brain. And I have the internal working model of my therapist in my brain. So of course not. That's literally how therapy is supposed to work. And it isn't only therapy. You can have this with your parenting partner. You can have this with a spouse. You can have this with a really good friend, maybe a mentor, a boss, somebody who really felt nurturing, who validated, who made you feel safe when you were around them, who gave you a sense of sturdiness, meaning if I'm going to get upset, they're not going to be like, forget you. They're going to be like, wow, you're really upset right now. Let's talk about it. Right? That person made me feel seen. They get me. They really get me, all of me in my entirety. They don't just like me for like the times that I'm nice or the times that I'm doing something for them. They always like me, even when I'm not at my best. Right? They get me. They know what I mean. They know what I'm saying when I'm talking. I feel felt when I'm with that person. Those interactions, those relationships teach us co-regulation. And then that co-regulation becomes mentalized, meaning it becomes an internal working model inside our brain. Like, the world can sometimes be scary, but there are wonderful people in it. The world can sometimes be scary, but I can cope. Things can feel stressful, but I know how to calm myself down. Right now, I need to shut down and dissociate for a bit, but I'll come back soon. I'll be okay soon. So if someone tells you you need to learn how to self-regulate so you can help your baby learn to co-regulate, they're lying to you. You need to co-regulate in order to teach your baby mentalized co-regulation. This is a controversial opinion and a lot of people are gonna disagree with me, but there really is no such thing as self-regulation. There's only mentalized co-regulation. So now, how do you co-regulate with your child when you are a post-traumatic parent who has flashbacks, who is dysregulated easily, who does get stressed out easily? What do? So you're going to take that mentalized co-regulation, however you learned it, whichever that person is, that makes you feel really safe, seen, soothed, secure, that sturdy presence inside your brain. And let's say you're getting very hyper aroused, you're upset, the kids are being difficult, like newsflash. It is okay as a post-traumatic parent to sometimes get angry at your kids, to sometimes feel overwhelmed by parenting, to sometimes feel even that sense of mom rage that like overtakes us sometimes. That doesn't mean, for us post-traumatic parents, we sometimes think, oh my gosh, I'm being abusive. My kid is gonna have the abusive childhood that I wanna get away from. Or even if you had a great childhood, but then you were traumatized in your adulthood and you're like, my damage is gonna damage my children. Oh no, look at me right now. I flew off the handle. I yelled. I got upset. Here's the difference. Your kid isn't you. Your kid has you, right? Your child is not alone because you know that, let's say you did fly off the handle. And hello, I am a child psychologist. I'm a trauma expert. I'm a clinical psychologist. I am good at helping people calm down. I sometimes get upset, I sometimes yell, I sometimes have disproportionate reactions where the problem is like this little, like, you know, my toddler insisting on wearing sandals without socks to school in December. It's not that big a problem in the grand scheme of things, and I get more mad than I should. That happens sometimes. I'm human, we're all human. That doesn't mean that that's abusive. But let's say you do fly off the handle. You say that thing you shouldn't say. You yell. You get upset. You roll your eyes at your kid. You do something that you don't believe in doing. we can always engage in rupture and repair. We can always fix it. Unlike a lot of post-traumatic parents who were raised by parents who believe that parents don't apologize, that it's disrespectful if a parent apologizes because, I don't know why actually, but that's what they believed, so they were never apologized to. You're gonna own it. Mommy had big emotions for a minute and yelled. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have yelled. It was okay that I got mad, it wasn't okay that I yelled. I'm sorry. And then the kid's gonna say, yeah, that made me feel sad. And then, yeah, it did make you feel sad. I'm sad that you're sad. You know what? We're gonna figure this out together. Let's take a deep breath. Let's figure it out together. Let's start over. Life really does a little bit have a rewind button. It's called apologizing. We're gonna rewind. It's funny because kids don't even know what the word rewind means. I grew up in the age of cassette tape, so I know what rewind means. So when I make that rewind motion, my kid doesn't even know what I'm talking. I realized one day that like I make the rewind motion, but does my kid actually know what I'm talking about? Probably not. But we're gonna rewind and we're gonna start over. And you know what? In that moment, not only did I teach my child to mentalize co-regulation, I fixed my own mentalized co-regulation. How cool is that? And that's how it works. Yes, there are gonna be ruptures, but we can always repair. And we can always say, I'm sorry. And we can always, now yes, how do we get better at what I'm calling mentalized co-regulation? We figure out the things that restore a sense of calm and safety to our body. For some of us, that might be releasing all the tension by like going for a run and then doing some deep breathing. For some of us, that might be a relaxing bath. For some of us, that might be going out into nature. For some of us, that might mean taking a mindful break to eat something and drink something and notice the needs of our body. Everybody is gonna have different things that help their body feel safe and calm and present and centered so that they can then model that co-regulation, that active, mindful co-regulation for their child, who will then mentalize co-regulation. That's it. It's not that complicated. It's not so difficult. So if you're a post-traumatic parent and you're walking around feeling damaged and polluted and I don't know how to self-regulate, so I can't co-regulate, so my poor kids, they're stuck. I really remember when I gave birth to my oldest daughter as a post-traumatic parent, they handed my baby to me in the hospital and my first thought was, poor baby, she has me for a mother. The reason I started the post-traumatic parenting community, the reason I wrote post-traumatic parenting, the reason we have the Instagram, which you can find at Dr. Kozlowitz Psychology, the post-traumatic parenting podcast, this YouTube series is for every other mom who feels the way I did when they handed me my oldest child. That sense of, I am so damaged by my PTSD, poor kid, that she has me for a parent. So any parent who comes into me, and I hear this so often, so if you are that parent, know that you are not alone. I have heard this so many times. I can't self-regulate, so my kid won't learn to co-regulate. Of course you can't self-regulate, no one co-regulated with you. There's no such thing as self-regulation. There's only mentalized co-regulation. So if you had a therapist that taught you to mentalize co-regulation with that therapist, if you have a spouse that makes you feel safe, a boss, a mentor, a friend. I've even heard from one post-traumatic parent that what really helped her learn mentalized co-regulation was her dog. Her dog makes her feel safe, loved, unconditionally accepted, and being near her dog makes her body calm down. And that's her mentalized representation of co-regulation. Like her dog's heartbeat, just like feeling her dog nearby. Even though that dog is no longer with her, like the dog died, she still has that image. So for me, I don't know that an animal would do it. But if it's that, it's that. Do what it takes to find a relationship that makes you feel safe, seen, soothed, and secure, that gives you a sturdy presence in your life so that you can co-regulate with that person and then mentalize that co-regulation, and then you can co-regulate with your children. And the nice thing about our attachment system is it is very hungry and very seeking. So let's say you were in that real dorsal-vagal shutdown survivor mode as a post-traumatic parent, and you really didn't give your kids the kind of attached, attuned parenting that you wanted to give them the first few years of their life. The nice thing about the attachment system is that it wants attachment. So the minute you say, oh, I've done therapy, I now know how to co-regulate. I now know how to mentalize co-regulation. I now know how to co-regulate with my child. I want to start that. You can. Your child could be 5 months, 5, 15, it doesn't matter. Attachment can be repaired. We call that earned security. And the attachment system is infinitely hungry for us to do that. So it's okay. You can fix it. So just remember that next time someone lies to you and says, self-regulate, nope, co-regulate. If you didn't know how to do it, that's not on you. That's on whoever failed to co-regulate with you when you're a child. It's not on you. You can always learn it. Co-regulation is a skill. All skills can be learned. I hope I have earned your subscribe. If you're not subscribed already, please subscribe below. If you are subscribed, we love having you as a member of the post-traumatic parenting community. The way more parents find out about our community is people like you. The minute you like, you save, you click that bell button, you tell your friends about this. Post-traumatic parenting, the book, the podcast, the Instagram at Dr. Kozlowitz Psychology, it literally grew one post-traumatic parent at a time. So you can support this for free. Just like this video, comment, let YouTube's algorithm know that you liked this and this helped you, and it will show it to other people. There might be another mom out there 10 states away from you or in another country who needs this information. Let's teach YouTube's algorithm to give it to them. So please support this project as simply as liking, as simply as sharing, as simply as commenting. That helps. Check out at Dr. Kozlowitz Psychology. Check out the podcast. It has completely different information from the YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me. See you next time.